Hey, it's me, the spirit of birthdays. This episode is coming out on February 17th, which is the birthday of arguably the greatest Michael of all time, who you might know for his basketball prowess. You're right, that's me, Mike Schubert. It is also Michael Jordan's birthday. That was the joke that I was going for there. If you didn't get it, you should listen to my basketball podcast, Horse. But it's also President's Day weekend. That's a whole big George Washington birthday thing. So birthdays all around. But, you know, what's the best way to celebrate a birthday? I think the best way to celebrate is by listening to this podcast. Before we continue my first ever journey through the Harry Potter series, just a few quick announcements. I'm going to keep it brief, but we've got some live shows coming up in the very, very, very near future. We have 2 shows in Denver coming up tomorrow. If you were listening to this on the day it comes out, we've got an early show and a late show where it's going to be half Potterless, half the Noose Olympian. And then I have a show in Phoenix on the 20th that's only the Noose Olympian, but if you want some Percy Jackson good times, you can go to that show. And then I've got 2 shows that are going to be half Potterless, half the Noose Olympian in North Carolina in March, on March 9th, in 10th in Raleigh, and then in Charlotte. You can get tickets to all those shows at potterlesspodcast.com/live. Other Potterless things, as always, you can go to patreon.com/Potterless, and for just $4 a month, you can get access to all of the Patreon stuff that we ever posted for 5 years. That's incredible. And if you want to check out other stuff that I'm doing now on a more regular basis, I've been plowing through Percy Jackson content on my Percy Jackson podcast, The Noose Olympian, which has basically the same format as Potterless. Been doing a whole bunch of stuff with the TV show. I got to be a member of the press. I got to go to the premiere. I got to interview a bunch of people who made the show, people who acted in the show. So many incredible things. It has been a wild, wild ride over at The Noose Olympian, which you can listen to wherever you get your podcasts or on our website, thenewsolympian.com. And if in general you just want to keep up to date with what I'm doing, I'm on social media at Shubes17, SCHUBES17 on Twitter and Instagram. I've got a website, shubes.es, which has info about all the stuff that I am up to. We're posting new episodes of Meddling Adults. We did an episode with Dara O'Brien, who is an incredible comedian that I have been a fan of for quite some time. Having him on the show is absurd. Lots of cool stuff happening. But let's talk about the cool thing that you are about to listen to. This is a live show that Johnny Frohlichstein and I did in his hometown of St. Louis in, I think, August of 2022, July of 2022, summer of 2022. It has been a minute. It has been some time since we recorded this, but I'm excited to put it out into the ether. We did another one of our brackets where we were determining the funniest moment of the Harry Potter books. A note here is that the beginning of the recording got cut off. The guy running the booth made a slight goof and didn't record until a couple minutes into the show. But all you really miss is us like introducing the theme and some of the brackets and stuff. So you will get all of the context. Don't worry, you're a smart cookie. You will figure it out. So without further ado, let's get into this episode of Potterless, where Johnny Frohlichstein and I try to figure out what's the funniest moment in the Harry Potter books live in St. Louis. Those brackets, they are themed. So the first one is just things that Fred and George did. That's the Gryffindor bracket. It always does work out where they fit into the houses. Our Ravenclaw bracket is the witty, funny things bracket. The Slytherin bracket is the disses, digs, clapbacks, all sorts of put downs, things like that. And then the Hufflepuff bracket is everything else. They'll take the lot. So we have a whole bunch of fun things prepped here. What we're going to do for the first round is just really quickly, we're just going to talk through what we think would win between the two, just like quick little discussions. Since there's a lot to get through, let us just kind of like get through that. Every other round after the first round, we'll have audience participation. So at that point, you can get the applause-o-meter going and all of that. I think before we get into it, though, we should give a shout out to some special folks in the crowd, notably your mother, Carol Frohlichstein, in the crowd.
Hi, Mom.
Did you
Thanks
buy?
for coming.
Wait, did your mom buy a shirt?
Oh, she bought a shirt.
God. That's great. This is the first live show where I've seen someone wearing the new Mike Schubert Money Guns t-shirt. So you look great, Carol. All right. So we're going to start in the Gryffindor quadrant, the Fred and George doing fun stuff quadrant. The one seed we have here is Oi, Angelina. So when Fred asks Angelina out to the Yule Ball, Oi, Angelina, against the number 8 seed, which is after Percy has been called Weatherby quite a bit by his boss, Barty Crouch, eventually Fred and George saying, "Shut up, Weatherby." 1 verse 8 between those two.
So I'm extremely jealous of Oi Angelina because when I was in high school, promposals were like the biggest thing. And it was like, you had to do such an elaborate setup. And it was like, it took so much time. And what I would have given when I was in the 10th grade or the 11th grade or whatever, to just say like, oi, prom date, and then like have that be it. That would have been amazing.
That would have been good. I didn't have to do this because I went to an all-boys Catholic high school, so I did not ask people in my school to go to prom with me, so I got to avoid the promposal thing. But yeah, I've heard it gets intense. Like there's posters and you rent out classrooms and...
Did y'all not do the like partner school thing that you did prom together or anything like that?
It was basically, we had 3 all-girls schools in our vicinity, and you would ask them to the prom, but there wasn't necessarily... Oh, yeah. I would have to, like, send a telegram, though. Oh, fuck, that would have been good. Damn it. I should have sent a telegram. Damn it. One day I'll travel back in time. Anyway... But between that, the Shut Up Weatherby is very good. I think it's very clever of them to notice what is happening to Percy. Clearly, it's going to rub him the wrong way. They're picking up on his boss not knowing his name. And unlike me, who, when I read this famously in Potterless, I thought that Weatherby wasn't even close to Percy, because I didn't think that he would call him by his last name. And then I got 7,000 emails correcting me. So much so that if you listen to episode 15 or whatever it is, I've put in audio back into the old episodes that says, stop emailing me about this. That's how bad it got. So maybe I'm biased, but I'm leaning towards Oi Angelina. It's just a good power move.
I don't know. Shut Up Weatherby is just such like a good twist of the knife, because the fact that his boss calls him the wrong name is just a knife, and then like the just like little bitty twist. But I think I'm with you. Oi Angelina is too iconic not to move on.
Yeah, because we're going for funniest moment, not just funniest quote. And I think that the Oi Angelina is just like a whole funny endeavor. So that one moves on. Let's go to the next round. This is between the 4 seed and the 5 seed. The 4 seed is when Fred and George send dung to Percy in the ministry, and he tries to act like he has some fancy fertilization sample, but then Fred admits, no, I sent that to you.
Yeah.
And then the 5 seed is when, in the first book, Fred and George are messing with Molly, and they keep lying about which one is Fred, which one is George. Prank on the old mom. I feel like these are both pranks. I feel like dung to Percy is like one step more elaborate, that I'm leaning towards that. But how do you feel?
I just love that he's letting Percy live in his little fantasy world, that like this is some official business that's fallen onto his desk, when in reality it's literally a piece of shit sent by his brother. That's amazing. The like Fred and George name switching is sort of like twin humor 101 a little bit. It feels a little basic.
As I've heard from some British podcasts that I listen to, notably the Taskmaster podcast, when they say something is a bit like the first thing you think of, they call it Route 1, which I think is really good and I want to start adopting. But yeah, it does feel like a Route 1 joke of like, yeah, of course, you're twins. You look the same.
I like Route 1.
Right? It's good.
Yeah.
There's so many good Britishisms that I wish I could steal without sounding weird. Like, in it is the best, but I can't say it. God.
Yeah.
The other thing that the dung to Percy reminds me of is I like that Percy tries to take credit for it, because this reminds me of when Kelly and I were in our apartment and they had first, like, after the initial lockdown of COVID, they finally opened up the
Where
gym.
could this be going?
Get ready. It's a relevant tangent. We have a gym in our apartment's basement, and they finally started letting people in, and what you were supposed to do the whole time is you're supposed to wear a mask if you were there with anybody else. And Kelly and I would wear masks, and nobody else in our apartment would want to. So Kelly printed off signs that looked official, like they were from our apartment, that said mask must be worn at all times in the gym. So she printed them off and taped them up at all different points in the gym. And then at one point we were like in the elevator with our super, and somehow, like, I think Kelly was in her full gym clothes and a mask. So like started talking to him about like, yeah, you know, I wish more people would wear masks in the gym. And then our super Benny said, yeah, I put signs up in the gym and everything. And people still aren't wearing them. And we're like, that was not you, but like Kelly couldn't say anything because she couldn't like tell Benny that she did it. But I like that he saw the signs and didn't just leave them there, but also took credit for them.
That's like sociopathic. What else is Betty lying about?
I don't know.
That is so fucked up.
I don't know, man. It's weird super stuff. Anyway, I feel like this is a long way to say I think dung to Percy is the winner. Do you agree or do you?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, great.
No-brainer.
We can now move on to the number 3 seeded Fred and George throwing snowballs at the back of Quirrell's head, which is Voldemort's face. And the number 6 seeded when Molly is so happy that Ron has become... Is it that Ron has become a prefect? And this says everyone in the family has become a prefect, but famously Fred and George haven't. So Fred and George ask, what are we, next door neighbors? Which is a really good line. Again, I feel like we're going against good quote versus like funny bit/moment, and that's what makes me feel like Snowballs is a slight advantage.
I don't know. I love the zinger of like, what are we next door neighbor? That is like extremely like on the spot, quippy and witty. To come up with that on the spot is brilliant. Unless he'd been planning it because he knew his mom was going to say that, which is also a possibility.
I also guess the difference is that they were just throwing snowballs at Quirrell because. Like, it wasn't like they knew. Like, it's funnier when you know what's behind it, but they didn't know. So, like, they were just... I mean, I guess it is weird that white guy Quirrell wears a turban to school. Like, that is strange. But I get...
Big red flag.
Yeah. I think What Are We Neighbors might be the upset. Let's go with next door neighbors. Yeah. Okay, great. So Neighbors pulls off the upset according to our ranking system. And now we go on to the final matchup of the Fred and George bracket in the first round. Number 2, not giving Ron a discount at Weasley's Wizarding Weasels. I think it's very funny that they adamantly do not give him a discount. And then number 7, a moment that I forgot that I would love for you to clarify is when they hum the funeral march.
Yeah. Okay. So in the Hogwarts school song, like the whole rule is that you all say the same lyrics, but you do a different tune. This is in the first book.
That sounds like a mess. That's a mess.
But, yeah, it sounds terrible. But at the very end, like, everyone's done singing their song except Fred and George go on for, like, an extra minute while everyone else is quiet because they're singing it to the tune of a funeral march, which is objectively hilarious.
I think that is very funny. I just feel like not giving Ron a discount is so good, though. It's so good. I don't think it's toppable, at least in this match.
Oh, I'm totally with you.
Okay, great.
It's next level.
I just like how they don't do it, and then they really don't back down when Ron like tries to push against. They're like, no, we're not giving you a discount. If anything, we're going to charge you more because you're our brother. Okay, we can now move on over to the Ravenclaw bracket, the witty stuff. So the first, number 1, when Ginny lies to Romilda Vane about different tattoos that Harry and Ron might have on their chests. And then number 8, when Moody sasses Lavender. What's the quote?
Something like, you need to be prepared. You need to be alert. You need to not look at that in my class because he's looking at her through the back of his head, which is like quite an incredible transition from him. But Ginny's iconic tattoo story, I don't know if that's beatable. Maybe in this whole tournament, frankly.
It's the number 1 seed for a reason. I mean, it's really good. It's really clever. It's funny in that, like, it's Ginny messing with her brother and the boy that she likes. It's like such a specific thing. Like, it is so specific to give Harry a Hungarian horntail tattoo and then Ron a pygmy puff tattoo, right? And then not say where. It's really good.
Do you I know you don't have any tattoos. Would you get a tattoo?
Yes, I have 2 ideas.
Pygmy puff. Don't know where.
Pygmy puff forehead. No, I want the 2 tattoos I want to get. For many years, I was in a hip hop themed improv troupe in Seattle called A Tribe Called Yes. So it was all like A Tribe Called Quest themed, kind of like improv and stuff. And me and that group have stayed super tight, still have a group chat. Anytime I go to Seattle, I hang out with them. There's a refrain from the song that we always open the show with. We do an improvised version of it, but we say the chorus from Can I Kick It, which is Can I Kick It? Yes, you can. And the last time I performed with Tribe in April of this year, one of the guys, Michael Draper, said like he was thinking of getting a tattoo that says "Yes, you can" on it, and I was like, "Fuck, that's so good!" Like, it's positive, like it's a joke without like being like too specific. It's like a good uplifting message. It's simple. It pays homage to this group that I like and my favorite rap group. Like, it checks all the boxes. Really good. The other one is my buddy Tim and I. We were interns at the same company, but in different locations. We were YouTube friends, but then we happened to both be interns, and we used the precursor to Microsoft Teams, which is Microsoft Office Communicator. I don't know if anybody oh yeah, big, all right, yes. Yeah,
90s
okay, cool.
kids remember.
Yeah. They had a couple of different emojis and stuff that you can send, and they were all like work themed, but one of them was called Working on It. They were all GIFs. So when you would send Working on It, you would send in parentheses WOI, and it would do a block and a block and a block and then a block and a block and a block, and it would build a pyramid. But then also one of the emojis was a sheep. Don't ask me why. But the thing to do with sheep was you would go parentheses BAH close parentheses, like ba, like a sheep. Now, if you lined up the sheep and then the pyramid one, it looked like the sheep was pooping a pyramid.
So Tim and I would just send this to each other, Bawoy, to us all the time. And we would joke that one of us would get the sheep and one of us would get the pyramid being built with the 6 blocks as like matching tattoos.
Such a deep and meaningful, thing to put in your body.
Really. And then, of course, I'll get that one like on the inside of my lip, one of those very cool tattoos that you have to do this to show.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm not going to do that. I'm kidding. But yeah, if I got yes, you can, I would get it like on my bicep, like here. And if I got the Bawoy one, I'd probably like hide it on my upper thigh. Because I don't know that needs to be publicly shown. What about you with your mom in the crowd? Tell us about the tattoos you want, Johnny.
Well, I have a tattoo. I have a little bike on my thigh, and then I have a dot on my butt from a party. But
does your mom know about the dot on your butt?
I don't know. Okay. But if I were to get another one, I would get a big heart with mom on my bicep.
That'd be very good.
Anyways, Ginny wins.
Ginny wins. This is a very long way to say Ginny wins the tattoo thing. Anyway, Harry Potter, yes. Now, this next matchup, number 4 seeded Harry and Crumb at Bill and Fleur's wedding, with Crumb trying to go out with Ginny and then Harry disguised as a different Weasley saying like, oh yeah, she's taken by a real jealous macho type. You wouldn't want to mess with him. Yeah. And then Crumb saying, what's the point of being an international Quidditch star if you can't get the girls? Just that whole scene. And then number 5, Harry admitting to Dumbledore that he fell asleep in divination class, and then Dumbledore saying, what is it?
Understandable,
please continue. Both very good. I think I want to give the edge to the Harry and Crumb thing because I think both parts are very funny. Like Harry doing the whole like, oh yeah, it's this big tough dude, you wouldn't mind to mess with him thing without Crumb knowing. And then I do find it funny that Crumb is just like mad that he's famous as hell and can't pick up some girl at a wedding.
I also love that Harry's strategy works because like Victor Crumb is supposed to be like the burliest of anybody, right? So like, you're like, it would be like
no. In
Shaq.
the books, he's notably lanky. It's just because they cast Muscle Bob Buff Pants Stanislav Yanevsky, who I had the pleasure of meeting last weekend at LeakyCon. He is a gem. He is so nice, but he is very into fitness.
Got it. Okay, that makes a lot more sense than if he's a lanky boy in the books. I totally forgot.
I did ask him, and basically the director just like saw the book and saw that was what Crumb was supposed to be, and then decided like, nah, I want a big ripped dude.
Yeah. Total jock is what we need.
Yeah.
Harry and Crumb, though, that one wins for sure.
Great. I do love Dumbledore, and I appreciate this about Dumbledore. I appreciate this about McGonagall. Like, when they don't like a teacher, they don't really hold back, and I appreciate it. But also, Dumbledore, maybe hire a better teacher. You're in charge of the school. Like, what are you doing making fun of bad professors? Fire them. I guess, like, she has a function, but, like, I don't know. Maybe don't make her a teacher. Make her, like...
Well, but isn't it implied that he kept her around because like she was dangerous out in the wild because of the prophecy or whatever?
Yeah, he did it to protect her. It was like for her safety.
Right, but like put her on staff, not as a teacher, right? Like that's easy enough.
She doesn't have to teach a class. Like you can do a thing where you just make them the gym teacher. Like at my high school, Craig Biggio, the famous baseball player, his kids went to our school and he was the baseball coach. But in order to be a coach at my school, you had to be a teacher. So they made Craig Biggio a gym teacher and he taught 0 classes. So it was just like, yeah, world famous Hall of Fame baseball dude had his own office in our school and did jack shit.
That's wild.
Except mow the baseball field every morning and then I guess play solitaire until 3 p.m. when baseball practice started. I mean, it's Craig Biggio, so you do it.
Life of a retired baseball player. You're done at 40 and then you're hanging out.
Maybe I can do the same if my kids, they hire me to be like the podcasting coach and then I can just like, goof off and play Wordle and teach people podcasting. Anyway, the next matchup is between the number 3 seed, Lee and McGonagall. Their sweet banter back and forth during all the Quidditch games. It happens multiple times throughout the series. Just good stuff. Lee, at one point, I think the book implies he calls someone a bitch because it has like B and then a hyphen and then they like don't fill it in.
I think the implication is she stopped him before he said it.
Yeah, like she unplugged the cord.
No, it's not like B star.
But they have great back and forth and stuff. There's parts where like Lee is hitting on Angelina Johnson, or not hitting on her, but he's like saying like, oh, she's very attractive, like trying to make some moves. There's a whole bunch of stuff. Versus the 6 seed when Harry is threatening Dudley with using magic, but he doesn't actually use magic because then he would get in trouble. He says vague things like hocus focus,
jiggly wiggly,
and it terrifies Dudley.
I think that's pretty good. I know that Lee and McGonagall
really
are classic, but I think that that's like so just like perfectly benign, but also pretty evil of Harry to freak Dudley out like that. I don't know. That's like expert level trolling.
Right. I think I do want to give the edge to Harry there because I feel like it's very clever and witty, and it's a great way to get around the rule of like you aren't allowed to do magic, but like you still need to intimidate your rival, I guess. The Liam McGonagall thing, it is very funny, but I just think that extra level of clever from Harry should be rewarded.
I'm with you.
Great. Okay, Hocus Pocus advances. And now we'll get into our final Ravenclaw bracket first round matchup, which is between Harry and Ron just BSing their way through divination class, doing the homework where they say they've died like multiple times in a month and then getting A's for it.
Or like Ron looking at a crystal ball and saying, I think there's going to be a lot of fog. Like,
Yeah, it's really good stuff there. And then number 7, it's a similar thing to the Harry falling asleep. I think Harry calls Rita Skeeter a cow, which is very British of him. And then Dumbledore says something like, I've lost my hearing temporarily and I can't recall what you just said or anything like that. I feel like the BSing during divination is so funny, especially because like not only is it just funny that they do it, but that they also get better grades because of it.
Oh,
It's
yeah. The more
hilarious.
depth, the better grades. Yeah,
Yeah.
That's definitely better. I do love Dumbledore like totally excusing Harry for being like a little twerp, you know,
Yeah.
12 or 14-year-old, not 12-year-old because it's book 4.
And don't I know that now? And at least that's justified because Rita Skeeter is like a bad journalist. Like she's like a corrupt person. It makes sense for Dumbledore to trash her as opposed to a teacher that Dumbledore has willfully given a job at the school that he runs.
Yeah, it's crazy how the writers modeled Tucker Carlson after her.
God, that guy sucks so much. Let's go on to the Slytherin bracket. Speaking of the worst people on Earth, and you like Tucker? Ugh. Oh, okay, cool. That way better answer. Oh my goodness. I was gonna say your shoes are way too cool to like Tucker Carlson, but Slytherins. Let me clarify. Book Slytherins, not real life people. You look great. I like your shirt and your beard and your shoes. Moving on to book Slytherins, the worst people on Earth. This bracket is instead all the disses, the digs, the comebacks, all that kind of stuff. Number 1 seeded when Harry is messing with Vernon Dursley, and Vernon says to him, "Oh, you're watching the news again." And Harry says, "Well, you see, it changes every day," which is
So
really good. And then number 8, when Phineas Nigellus just sasses Harry Potter all throughout. Big get off my lawn energy. What's the specific quote? We had it written down in our notes.
Yeah, something about like, you know, adolescent troubles of these people that he doesn't care about.
Now, if you'll excuse me, I have better things to do than listening to Adolescent Agonizing. Good day to you. Adolescent Agonizing, that'd be a great band name or album title or
No,
something.
totally.
But I just think listening to the news again, I laughed out loud when I read it. It's so funny.
Yeah, and in the research I did for this today, instead of doing my job, I
You did your job. It was after your job. Let the record show.
Yeah, that's right.
This is my job, so it was still mine the whole time.
I was looking for Phineas Nigellus quotes, and like he's like good and dry and sassy, but there's not like any like peak moments for him. So like I think his general sass is great, but like I don't know that he gets like a moment. So I'm with you. The news one is too good.
All right, the news advances. And now we go to our next matchup, which is between the 4-seeded Moody turning Draco into a ferret and the number 5-seeded Dumbledore enchanting the plates and the cups to hit the Dursleys in the face when they refuse to eat/drink out of them because they are afraid of Dumbledore.
Draco Ferret's pretty fucking iconic.
It's really good. Especially just like the whole scene of it, like the act of doing it is very funny. But then also McGonagall having to go to Moody and explain to him, you can't do this.
Well, and she asks him, she's like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "Teaching."
Yeah, that is his answer, is teaching, which is very
it's
funny.
not even Moody, which is weird, but
It is, yeah, when you think of the next level of like, right, that is what Barty Crouch Jr. decided was the right course of action. But like, maybe he had bad run-ins with...
well, it's even funnier because no
Draco.
one was like, "That's not Moody." It was like, yeah, you would.
Par for the course. He's a great method actor. But it is also funny because maybe he was like taking out his frustrations with Lucius, like vicariously out on his kid. Like, there's levels to it. And I think it's
Wow.
very good. So my vote is for the ferret.
Yeah,
As
totally.
much as I love the plates and the cups. All right, the number 3 seed is between Molly sending a Howler to yell at Ron Weasley after they steal the car and embarrassing him in front of all of his friends, and the number 6 seeded Aunt Muriel being drunk at the wedding and just kind of yelling at everybody and asking, "Who are you?" There is another
She's
quote.
like, "Xenophilia's Lovegood looks like an omelet. Who are you?"
Yeah, it says Xenophilia's Lovegood looks like an omelet, which is a great dig / gotta see what he's wearing that makes him look like an omelet.
Here's the thing. If I could only hang out with one type of person for the rest of my life, it would probably be drunk old ladies at weddings. I mean, come on. Like, there's just such good content, absolute fire being spit the whole time. I'm on Team Muriel all the way here.
Man, the Howler is just so good, especially because I feel like it's a very adaptable thing that like Kelly and I will sometimes like yell at each other, but like jokingly as if we have written howlers to each other or something. Ron Weasley, like I don't know, it's just good and it's a great mom move because Molly knows full well what's going to happen. Like she is sitting down, and I don't know how you like craft a howler. I don't know if it's a spell or you write it or however it works, but she's doing it knowing like, yes, this is going to be delivered in the middle of the cafeteria, and the best way for me to show my disdain towards Ron and make sure that he never pulls these shenanigans again is I will embarrass him in front of the entire school. And it's so, I just think it's a great like mom move. It's just it's a great way to kind of like scare your kids straight in a low stakes, non-harmful way.
Yeah, as much as I love Drunk Angry Muriel, who is basically just Lucille Bluth from Arrested Development, I'm willing to acquiesce on this one and go Howler, only because you and Kelly doing that when like one of you didn't do the dishes or something is very adorable.
Yeah, it's usually me not folding the hand towels by the kitchen, like the drying rack thing, because I just kind of like dry my rag and like throw them back over the little hook. And Kelly wants them to be folded and nice, which is understandable.
You're an animal. You're just an animal.
God.
How do you live like that?
I don't know, she puts up with me. All right, the final matchup, the number 2 seeded Ginny flying into Zachariah Smith after the Quidditch match because he was being annoying in the commentary booth. And number 7, what's the Dudley toilet head thing? You had a better read on this.
Yeah, Dudley like threatens to he like implies he's gonna put Harry's head in the toilet or something.
A classic swirly situation.
Classic swirly. 90s kids remember, huh?
Did you ever get swirlied? I've been attempted at swirlied, but I survived.
You did?
Yeah, it was like in K
That's
through 8
real?
school. Not like a real bullying thing, but it was like a rough housing with friends that you like, and it was like,
What, did you grow up in a sitcom?
yes.
Oh, okay.
It's me. What's
Saved by the Bell?
No, what's the like why am I thinking of Beaver? What's the There it is. It's me. Leave it to Beaver.
Yeah, but anyways, Harry's like, oh, that toilet's never had anything as disgusting as your head down it, or something.
Pretty good.
Which as much as I love Ginny flying into Zachariah Smith, I think that, again, Harry's like immediate witty retort here is like, that's tough to beat for me, even though it's seated lower.
It is good. I think it is a great comeback and stuff, but she didn't need to do it, but it's so good that she did, and she didn't get in trouble for it, even though she like damaged school property, and they didn't care because McGonagall was like, "You're right, he was annoying," and that was okay.
Yeah, the rules at this place.
They're just, I mean, you can be mean as long as it's justified, but I don't know. I'm partial to the Ginny and to Zachariah Smith thing.
Yeah. No, I'm with you.
Okay. I just like that it's just part of a big like Ginny come up arc in that whole 6th book, and Zachariah Smith is also so annoying. He's such a little twerp that I like to see him put in his place, especially because like you go from the high of Lee Jordan commentary down to Zachariah Smith just like being a snot-nosed brat to everybody. Ugh.
Yeah, and here's the thing. I love potty humor. I know it's not for everyone. So yeah, I'm with you.
Okay, now we will go into the Hufflepuff quadrant. This is just the everything else, so it's a grab bag of stuff. Number 1 seeded Runel Waslib. So this is when the quick quill doesn't write Ron's name as Ronald Weasley, it writes it as Runel Waslib. And then later, when the book gets confiscated by Snape, Snape says, "Why does it say Runel Waslib on it?" And Harry goes, "That's my nickname." Which is really good.
Runel Waslib is also a great Harry Potter band name.
Oh, yeah.
That would be so good.
Surprised that, or maybe there is like a wizard rock band called that. Also great trivia name if you want to do that. Yeah. Number 8 seed is Lockhart after he loses his memory. He is all weird and...
Yeah, he's like, gets asked about the sword, and he's like, I don't have a sword. That guy's got a sword. And he's like, he asks Ron if he lives in the Chamber of Secrets, I think.
He
which
says
is
like,
really
this
good.
is an odd place, isn't it? Do you live here? Yeah. Very funny. Love seeing Lockhart put in his place.
It has no chance.
Very rude, but no, Runel Waslib is just, come on. Can't top it.
It's the best. It's so funny.
All right, so here's a fun 4-5 seed matchup. This is both Ron not understanding how the Muggle world works. Number 4, Ron putting way too many stamps on the letter that he sent to Harry. And then number 5, Ron yelling into a phone and demanding that he wants to talk to Harry Potter, not understanding that Vernon can just kind of hear him plain and clear on the other end. I like both of these. The visual, though, of the stamps, I think, is very funny. Just to have a bunch of stamps like they're just stickers on the envelopes.
If you ask me to go buy a stamp from my house, I wouldn't know where to go. I don't know how to buy
To
stamps.
buy a stamp from your house?
I don't know where to go. So I'm really impressed that Ron got so many
Got
stamps.
so many stamps. There you go.
Oh
Hell
shit!
yeah.
Now I know where to go. I got a stamp person now. In New York, we have guys. You know, like I got a stamp guy. Doesn't matter if they're a guy.
I love the stamps. I'm a big USPS guy. I did just buy like $300 to $400 worth of stamps a couple of days ago because they not a couple of days ago, like in the end of July or the beginning of July because they upped the prices a little bit, and I know I'm going to be using stamps to mail out patron stuff for the newest Olympian, like for the foreseeable future. So Kelly and I bought out the stamps at the local, at least
Where? At the stamp store?
At the post office in Seaside Park, New Jersey. We walked in and we were like, "Can we have $200 in international stamps?" And they said, "We have $120 worth." And I said, "We'll take them." And then we went onto the USPS website and then ordered a bunch of fun, different stamps and stuff. But yeah, we got them before the price raised.
Let me tell you, the whole USPS needs to be profitable discourse is infuriating, but that's a different podcast, but it's infuriating.
I want to punch Louis DeJoy in the face every day. I love the USPS so much. Why does a government institution have to run a profit? It's not a business. It's a service. I don't get it.
I wish I knew the Postmaster General's name for
Louis
a good...
DeJoy?
No. I'm saying I wish I knew his name for a good reason. I would love to have like a heroic Postmaster
Wouldn't
General.
it be cool to know who a politician was because they were good? Wah! All right, so now we have the number 3 seeded Weasley's getting stuck in the fireplace and then giving taffies to Dudley, and then his tongue gets all big and all of that put into one ridiculous situation. And then the number 6 seeded Luna telling Harry in all sincerity that sometimes people didn't think that Crumplehorn Snorkax were a real concern to look out for. They're both really good, but the Luna just being so convinced that this is a real thing, I find endlessly hilarious.
Yeah, she like thinks she has a gotcha. She's like, well, yeah, once upon a time, people didn't think blibbering humdingers were real.
Right.
Come on, like people come around. Well, so yeah, I think that's great. I do love the absolute insanity of the Weasleys getting stuck in the electric fireplace, blowing it up, and then making Dudley's tongue like quadruple in size. That's incredible. Mm-hmm. But Luna hasn't gotten enough love, so even for that reason, I think we should advance Luna.
Okay, great. So we're going to do that. Final Hufflepuff matchup. We've got the number 2 seeded Guy saying that the breeze between his privates is very fun, and that's why he likes to wear dresses at the Quidditch World Cup. Shout out to Archie, our good pal. And number 7, Fred and George telling Ron that the proper spell to transfigure Scabbers is to say, turn this stupid fat rat yellow.
Like the whole rhyming couplet, which if every spell in Harry Potter had to be a rhyming couplet instead of just a Latin word, it would be...
Not even a Latin word, a butchering of a Latin word.
Butchering of a Latin word. It would be way better if there was a rhyming couplet every 2 pages. I would love that so much.
You should write a YA fantasy series, and then it's magic-based, and everybody has to do cool rhyming couplets. And because then duels become rap battles. It writes itself, Johnny.
All that being said, who doesn't love the breeze between their privates? I mean, come on.
It's pretty good. It's just so funny, and it's just so different from like anything else that you see that I think Archie's breeze between his privates desire makes it through. Okay.
Totally with you.
Amazing. Cool. All right, so we finished the first round. Yay! Woo! We did it. We can now get into round 2 that has audience participation. So for this round, we're going to add some rules to make things a little more challenging for us and a little more fun for you to listen to. So it's not just us talking for 90 minutes. There's some different stakes here. So what we're going to do now is we are going to argue between these 2 things, but each of us will pick one of the things to defend. We will only have 10 words to make our case, and then you, the audience, will use the applause-o-meter to determine what moves on to the next round. So our first matchup here is between Oi Angelina and the dung delivery to Percy. Which of these 2 would you like to defend?
Ooh, I'll take away Angelina.
Okay, and I will do dung to Percy. You want to lead us off?
Yeah, sure. How should I ask her? I'm so nervous. Oi, Angelina!
Okay, Percy thinks he's hot shit, so let's send him shit. If you think Oi Angelina should advance, make some noise. Oh. You can, okay.
We're devastated. We thought that one might win.
If you think sending dung, or we'll do it again. If you think dung to Percy should advance, make some noise. Okay. If you think Oi Angelina should advance, make some noise.
Don't lie.
Wow, I think Dung upset.
I think Dung wins.
Wow.
I think Dung wins.
All right.
Wow.
Spicy. Shout out to Sherry Guo in the crowd who has helped edit a bunch of my podcasts and produce them and all that kind of fun stuff. Backstage, she asked, like, do you guys ever try to make sure one wins? And we're like, we'll put like some of the 1 seed that we think will do well. And the example we give was like, we feel like Oi Angelina will go pretty far. Nope. See, it's all improvised, Sherry. Anything can happen. Okay, the next matchup is between What Are We Next Door Neighbors and Ron not getting a discount. What would you like to do here?
I'll do the discount.
Okay, I'll start it off with What Are We Next Door Neighbors? Hey, neighbor, could I borrow some sugar? Also, we're family. We're family. Ah. All right, touche. If you think, hey, we're next door neighbors should advance, make some noise. Okay. If you think not giving Ron a discount should advance, make some noise. All right, there you go. All right. Cool. So now we will go on to the Ravenclaw section. First matchup is between Ginny lying about the tattoo situation or Harry and Crumb, the whole back and forth, can't get girls at the wedding.
I'll do Harry and Crumb.
Okay, cool. You start that off, and then I will do the Ginny tattoo situation.
If an athlete was into my fiance, uh-oh.
Okay, let's see. Embarrass my brother. Make my crush look cool. Win-win. Winnie Weasley, am I right? Okay. If you think that the Harry and Crumb debacle should advance, make some noise. Okay. If you think the Ginny tattoo situation should advance, make some noise. All right. Ginny tattoo. Now, we will go between Harry saying hocus focus, jiggly wiggly, or Harry and Ron BSing their way through divination. I would love to defend Harry and Ron BSing their way through divination.
Perfect. I would love to defend Hocus Pocus.
Okay. I will start us off with divination. This class sucks. I'm gonna goof it. Oh, wait. A+?
Hocus Pocus, jiggly wiggly, schmiggity schmaggity, wiggly wobbly, woo! That's an argument.
You have such a way with words, Johnny. Why aren't you the professional podcaster? If you think that Harry being in divination class and him and Ron BSing should advance, make some noise. Okay. If you think Hocus Focus Wiggly Jiggly should advance, make some noise. All right. Shout out to that person who supported your argument. Okay, and now we can get to the Slytherin section, the comebacks, the put-downs, the clapbacks. We've got Harry saying the news changes every day, and we have Moody turning Draco Malfoy into a ferret. What would you like to defend?
I'll be on Team Ferret.
Okay, great. You start us off, and then I'll do the news.
What's worse than Common Core? Turning students into a ferret. I don't know if Common Core is good or bad.
What is Common Core?
It's the like new age like math learning style that they like try to impose on everybody. I don't know if it's good or bad.
Kids these days. It's
good?
Yay! Okay,
What's
good.
better than Common Core?
Okay, I thought that like Common Core was like when things are like, I don't know, like cottage core where it's like, oh, I'm wearing a bunch of plaid. I was like, is Common Core when you're just like exceedingly normal?
No, that's Norm Core.
Norm Core, you're right. That is a thing I've heard of. Okay, what better way to zing your stepdad than insulting intelligence? All right, wow. If you think that turning Draco into a ferret should advance, make some noise. Okay. If you think, hey, the news changes every day should advance, make some noise. Okay. The news has it. Good, because I didn't feel strong about the argument, so that's okay. Now, the final Slytherin bracket matchup is between Molly sending Ron a howler and embarrassing him in front of all his friends, or Ginny flying into Zachariah Smith. I feel like I was more pushing on the Zachariah Smith, so I feel like you should do the howler.
Sounds good.
I'll start off with the Zachariah Smith. Let's see. Talk shit, get hit by me, Ginny Weasley. Ha-ha, loser.
If you put one more toe out of line... I don't know what came over me.
If you think Ginny flying into Zachariah Smith should advance, make some noise. All right. If you think the Howler should advance, make some noise. Okay. The Howler has it. We can get into our final round 2 matchups in the Hufflepuff section. We've got Runel Waslib or Bunch of Stamps. I feel like you're a big Runel guy. I can tackle the stamps.
Yeah, sounds good.
All right, I'll start off with stamps. Lick, place, lick, place, lick, place, lick, place, and post. Shout out to Lupe Fiasco. Lupe Fiasco is a rap artist who has a song called Kick Push, and the chorus goes kick, push, and coast.
Deep cut.
So I did lick, place, and post.
Like a paper cut. My name's John. My nickname's Johnny. Wish it was Runel.
If you think stamps should advance, make some noise. Okay. Polite applause. If you think Runel Waslib should advance, make some noise. All right. The Runel has it. Yeah, not good when I had to explain the joke. Didn't have high hopes for my argument.
That's how that makes it better.
That's how you know a joke is funny. Okay, now the final matchup of this round is between Luna, in all sincerity, saying that people didn't think Crumplehorn, Snorkax, and Blibbering Humdingers were things that were real, or Breeze Between the Knees from our good pal Archie. What would you
I'm on
like?
Team Breeze, baby.
Okay, why don't you start us off? For the folks listening at home, Johnny has spread his legs to allow for a breeze between his knees. He has now done one but counted to 10. It's a good argument. Okay. Crumple-horned Snorkaxes, blibbering humdingers. These aren't candy bars. They're animals.
Great point.
If you think the Crumplehorn Snorkax moment should advance, make some noise. Correct. If you think Breeze Between the Knees should advance, make some noise. Very, very good. Very good. Okay. That brings us to the end of round 2 and also the end of Act 1, which means we need to pass it over to my good pal, Editing Mike. How's it going, everybody?
Whoa, past Mike, it's me, Editing Mike, here as I always am to help the listener be up to speed with what is going on in the wild world of Potterless and the Mike Schubert extended podcast universe and all that good stuff. So let's talk about those sorts of things in Wingardium Adridosa. Potterless merch does still exist. We do sell it at live shows. We've got a couple of things that we sell at live shows, but the way that any of you can get it is if you go to the Potterless merch store, you can get digital merchandise at potterlesspodcast.com/merch. You can still get things like our ringtones and our wallpapers and replays of past live shows, and there's a whole bunch of goodies. So you can still get access to those if you would like. Also, if you would like, you can come through to LeakyCon in Portland, Oregon in July of this year. I will be there. I will be doing Harry Potter stuff. I will be doing Percy Jackson stuff. It's going to be an all-around good time. I'm stoked to do it. I'll also probably do some live shows for the Noose Olympian in the Pacific Northwest when I am around, so stay tuned for that. And in general, if you just want to be up to date with what's going on with Potterless, whether that is new episodes dropping or new live shows coming to a city near you, you can just follow Potterless on social media. We're at PotterlessPod on Twitter. We're at PotterlessPodcast on Instagram. So you can check those out and stay up to date with anything that is going on, coming your way, any fun things that happen. Thank you so much for listening to this. Thank you for staying subscribed. I very much do appreciate it. And I will now be taking a break here for some ads that make it feasible for me to be a full-time podcaster. Some of those ads will be read by me. Others of them won't be. The ones that aren't read by me are inserted locally. So if you live in a non-English speaking country, you might hear an ad in non-English. But once those ads are complete, we will get into the continuation of this episode of Potterless.
Sure was some delicious toasted ravioli and gooey butter cake we had in there, wasn't it?
You joke, but we did eat both of those things today, just not during intermission.
And we told jokes on Halloween.
God, that is the coolest thing. Every city in the world should do that. It is
the best.
It is wild that not every place makes you tell a joke before you can get candy. It should be required. But we have brackety things to do and funny moments to discuss. So let's just recap so we all know what is at stake here. In the Elite Eight, we have a final matchup now in each of the brackets. So the final Fred and George matchup is between sending dung to Percy and him thinking it was a gift, and Ron not getting a discount. In the Ravenclaw section, we've got Ginny lying about the tattoos and Harry and Ron BSing their way through divination class. In the Slytherin section, we have Harry saying the news changes every day and Molly sending a howler to make Ron look like a silly, silly boy. And in the Hufflepuff section, we've got Runel Waslib, that's my nickname, and Breeze between the knees. What a powerhouse combo, my goodness. Now, what we're going to be doing for this round here is we are going to be similarly each picking one to argue on behalf of, but instead of arguments needing to be 10 words, they will have to be in the form of a rhyming couplet or multiple rhyming couplets if you're feeling very spicy. So you will argue for one of the things. You got to rhyme the whole time. So first matchup, Fred and George bracket. We've got sending dung to Percy. We've got not giving Ron a discount. What would you like to rhyme about?
I'll rhyme about dung to Percy.
Okay, I will do Ron with the discount. Do you want to go first or second?
I'll go second.
Okay, all right, Ron with the discount. All right. You come into our store and we see there's something you've bought. You were hoping for a discount, but obviously not. Not done yet. Just because you're our brother, you think we're giving you a discount? You're lucky we don't make you pay twice the amount. Thank you for the snaps. I'll get my beret from backstage. I'll look like Judy from Doug. Shout out to the people older than 30 in the crowd.
Ministry of Magic, where Percy's hat is hung. Climbing that corporate ladder, climbing every rung. Don't know where he's going, don't know where he came from. All I know is on his desk, he's got dung.
There you go, there you go. If you think making sure that Ron does not have a discount should advance, make some noise. All right? If you think sending Percy dung should advance, make some noise. All right, a lot of poop fans here in the crowd tonight. All right. Okay, so now over in Ravenclaw Town, we've got Ginny lying about the tattoos and Harry and Ron lying about divination class. What would you like to rhyme about?
I'll do Harry and Ron lying about divination.
Okay, you start us off.
Trying to think about what happened here, give my memory a little jog. Why don't I look into this crystal ball? Oh shit, there's gonna be fog.
Okay. There's a girl in school. The existence, she is your bane. I had to go talk to your enemy, Romilda Vane. I will inform you I've got a bit of bad news. I told her that you and Ron have embarrassing tattoos. If you think that Harry and Ron lying in divination class should advance, make some noise. Okay. If you think Ginny lying about the tattoos should advance, make some noise. I think slight edge
Close
to the tattoos.
one, but yeah, I think
very
tattoos.
close. Well played.
Very
well played.
close.
Okay, so now in Slytherin Town, we've got the news changes every day or sending Ron a howler as Molly. What are you feeling?
I'll take the howler.
Okay, I will start off with the news. Having Vernon Dursley as your dad is like an assured doom. He's not the brightest lamp in the living room. When he is sassy to me, what more can I say than to rudely inform him that the news changes every day?
Ronald Weasley, you're no son of mine. How dare you take that car flying? You literally went out there and committed a crime. Don't you dare set another toe out of line.
Very good. If you think telling Vernon that the news changes every day should advance, make some noise. Okay. If you think the howler should advance, make some noise. Yeah, well played, Johnny. Okay, now we can get into the final rhyming couplet duel. It is between Runel Waslib and Breeze between the knees.
I'll take Team Runel.
You'll take Runel Waslib? Okay, why don't you start us off and then I'll do the Breeze between the knees.
Don't know what to say here. Gonna do an ad lib. Wish my name was fucking Runel Waslib.
Oh, man. Oh, okay. All right. Just went to a Muggle store, picked up some clothes that are the best. I look absolutely stunning in my brand new dress. It flows nice and well. It's not rigid and starchy. Check out the breeze between my knees. It's your boy, Archie.
Wow. Wow.
If you think Runel Waslib should advance, make some noise. All right, shout out to that guy. If you think that the breeze between the knees should advance, make some noise. Okay, there we go. We have it. Our final four is now set. Finally, we will be having the bracket categories fighting against each other. And the final four is Sending Dung to Percy, Lying About Tattoos, The Howler Sent to Ron, and The Breeze Between the Knees. Now, for the final four matchup, we had to get very creative here. Normally for the brackets, we do things like acrostics, but that's not going to work because some of these are quotes and some of these are scenes, and it would be really hard. So what we're doing instead to switch it up here is a little bit different. If you were in middle school and you were assigned to make an art project about this scene or quote or situation, what would you make? It could be a diorama, it could be a poster board presentation, it could be like an interpretive dance, it could be lots of different things.
I don't do this professionally.
You know?
I'm just a guy.
So the first matchup, and we will just kind of lay out what we would do in this case. You can list multiple options. I'm not your mom, Carol is. So the rules are loose here. So the first matchup is between Sending Dung to Percy Weasley and The Breeze Between the Knees. What would you like to make a art or science project even about?
I guess Dung to Percy Weasley.
Okay, all right. If you were doing Dung to Percy Weasley, how would it shake out?
So in the book, he talks about how he opens a folder in what's called his in tray. And I don't think we're on the same page for what it's worth.
In-tray sounds like entrails.
No, that's not what I'm doing. I'm not that clever. I don't do this for a living. I'm just a guy. And so I think what I would do is I would sit at a desk and have an in tray, which I think is like what they have when they don't have email.
Yeah, it's just like an inbox where people put
yeah.
different papers, letters, etc.
Yeah. But I think what I would do is I would sit at this desk with the in tray and build like a really elaborate like Rube Goldberg invention that ends with like, I don't know, something that looks like dung ending up in the in tray. And I would just sit there, and then like the moment it landed in there, I would like look at it, and then I would open it, and then I would make, a stinky face, and that would be that. That's all I got.
It's good, and it's very on brand for Fred and George. So what I would do for The Breeze Between the Knees for Archie is I would do it like the science fair. I don't know if do you have to do the science fair like in middle school and all that? Okay, so I would do like a science fair project where I would have like a blow dryer kind of like fastened and pointing in a set direction, and then I would have like a turnstile thing with hangers on it, and clipped to each is like different fabric. And then what would happen is the blow dryer would like have the things blow like it's a breeze, and then it would also move it in a circle, and it would be all different types of fabric. So it could be like cotton or wool or chiffon or silk or lace, and just all these different things. And then that way you would get to be able to determine a dress made out of what material would allow for the best breeze between the knees situation. So you could find like the right balance between what gives me a nice breeze but isn't too much to where I'm exposing my private parts that Archie does reference in the quote. So trying to find that perfect balance between lots of breeze but not too much breeze where I'm putting on a show.
Kind of sounds like one of those science fair projects that your parents help you out with. It's really complicated.
Oh, man. So, applause-o-meter time. If you think that Johnny's Rube Goldberg to make poop appear should advance, make some noise. Okay. If you think the science fair project of breeze between the knees fabric should advance, make some noise. All right. The breeze has it. And it enters the finals. Now, on the other side, we've got the tattoos and the howler. What would you like to make an art project about?
I reckon the howler.
Okay, then I will start it off with the tattoos. Oh yeah, so I would get maybe 2 Ken dolls, And then I would draw on the Ken dolls like what the tattoo was meant to look like. But then I would have it in front of like a trifold poster board where it was kind of like a zoom in, blow up the image. And then, I don't know if this might be hyper specific, but when NBA teams or sports teams release in New Jersey and then they write like 70 paragraphs to like BS why they made the sleeves purple and the stripe yellow, and they're like, this is about the heritage of our city. Like I would just make a really intense like blown up thing with all the different like lines to like the drawing and why the colors were chosen and what things represent and all of that. So it'd just be like a very in-depth, thorough analysis of this Hungarian horntail tattoo and the pygmy puff tattoo.
I hate to tell you that no one in this room understood your NBA reference because we don't have a team and we're all very sad about
St.
it.
Louis, you used
The Hawks. Used to be the Hawks. They moved.
You should have a team. You should get a team before Las Vegas does, which is what they're always like talking about doing. It's unfair. St. Louis should have a basketball team.
So for my Howler school project, I think it would be like a combination origami sock puppet situation where I like make a little Howler and then I like duck down beneath a little sock puppet setup. And maybe even I have a Ron on the other hand. I don't know, like a little Potter puppet pal. And I hold him up and I hold my Howler up and I do like a whole sock puppet Howler scene situation.
Yeah.
That's with origami. That's what I would do.
That's really good. I like it. I'm also imagining the like foldy things that you do to like do people's
cootie
fortunes.
catcher.
Like, yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, your crush is gonna murder you in your sleep.
Yeah, but it screams it.
Yeah. Your crush is gonna murder you in your sleep. Okay. If you think that the tattoo diorama art project should advance, make some noise. All right. If you think that the Howler origami puppet show should advance, make some noise. Okay. Well done. We have an interesting matchup in the finals here. For the funniest moment in the Harry Potter book series, we have the breeze between the knees of Archie and Molly sending a howler to Ron Weasley for stealing a car. Now, for this final round, what Johnny and I will be doing is we will be giving 3-minute TED Talks about each of these two things, arguing why we think either of these is the correct answer. So, Johnny, I will defer to you. Which of these two would you like to give a 3-minute TED Talk about?
I think I want to go Team Breeze here.
Okay.
I love the Breeze.
I will let you start us off with the breeze, and then I will finish with the howler. Unless you want to go second.
No, I'll go first.
Let me get 3 minutes on the clock so you don't run away. Begin.
What is it about 70 degrees, sunshine, a rainbow, and a soft breeze that just feels so right? I'll tell you what it is. It's the fact that you have no undergarments on in this situation and that you're wearing a dress. And here's the thing. Archie, when did this come out? When is it? Whether it was in the mid-90s, early 90s when we're in book 4.
Yeah.
Archie was just ahead of his time. I'd love to wear a dress tomorrow. He'd love to wear a dress tomorrow. Any of us can wear dresses tomorrow. And Archie nailed it when he said, these are Muggle clothes. Muggles wear them. Why can't I? And I think Archie speaks for a lot of us. For a lot of the, not even us. I shouldn't say us because I'm a privileged white dude. But a lot of the marginalized and the unheard when Archie says, Muggles wear it. Why can't I? And I think that if I'm going to take anything away from this lovely evening that I've spent with all of you, it's that we should all be true to ourselves, just like Archie was on that fateful day when he felt a nice breeze round his privates and wasn't willing to sacrifice himself to give that up. So tonight, pour one out for Archie.
But don't pour stuff onto the floor of this venue. That was very nice to host us.
Metaphysically pour one out for Archie.
There we are.
Because he is a goddamn British hero. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
Well played. Okay. All right. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. I will be discussing why Molly sending Howler to Ron and embarrassing him in front of all his friends is the funniest thing that happened in the books. Now, you're Molly Weasley. You have 75 children. you are holding your house together, literally and figuratively, by a thread. You're doing so much. You have to worry about getting all of your kids in order, getting them to stop fighting each other and playing pranks on each other. You have to deal with Percy. You have to deal with Bill and Charlie, who both have incredibly dangerous jobs. You're stressed out. It's a stressful situation. And you also have, on top of all of this, your kid, Ron, who's just making it even more difficult. All he's got to do is go to school and get on a train. Easy? Yes. Does he figure it out? No. He has to make it more challenging than it needs to be. Now, Ron doesn't get through platform 9 3/4 with his friend Harry to get to school. So what does he do? Does he take another train? No. Does he, I don't know, just tell his parents and then have them drop him off at school? No. What does he do? He steals a car and goes himself. And he doesn't just steal a car, which he does not know how to drive. He doesn't have a learner's permit. I'm sure there's a British word for it that's like way more verbose and silly sounding, like, you know, the drivey-wivey rectangle time or whatever. I'm sure that yes, I'll call Dottie, but I'm sure that Ron does not have his permit. He's not old enough to be pulling these shenanigans. He's not old enough to drive a regular car. How in the world would he drive a flying car and know what to do? Just because he's seen Fred and George do it? Just because he's ridden as a passenger sometime? That's not good enough. So he steals a car, and he doesn't just steal the car, but he wrecks the car by driving it into a tree. Into a tree. You know how many trees are on Hogwarts campus? 1. And he drives into 100% of the trees on Hogwarts campus, and the car gets destroyed. This car that I'm sure is not common. It's made out of a Ford Anglia, so I'm sure like this is Arthur's just pet project. On weekends, he's just refurbishing this car, and it's his baby, his pride and joy, and then Ron wrecks it for no good reason. So what do you have to do? You have to set this kid straight. You gotta make sure that Ron is not gonna make this kind of mistake again. And what can you do? Do you wanna yell at him? No. Tough love isn't gonna do it. You're gonna give him the I'm not mad, I'm disappointed thing? No. Ron is too thick to recognize that and understand disappointing his parents. So what do you need to do? You need to embarrass your kid. You gotta make him look like a fool in front of his friends, if he even has any. So you need to find a way to make sure that he's scared straight. What do? You find the time when the most kids are around and everybody can hear, and that little twerp Draco Malfoy can make fun of him again in front of everybody else. You write a howler that's gonna scream at the top of his lungs in front of everybody, and you know what's funny? Messing with your kids. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. I rest my case.
Big moment.
A battle.
Big moment.
Big moment.
Gonna be close.
It's gonna be close indeed.
Polls are neck and neck.
So, if you think that the breeze between the knees is the funniest moment and should win this battle, make some noise. All right? Ooh.
Gonna be close.
If you think that sending around the howler should advance and win, make some noise. That was really close. Let's do the yeah. So we'll do it again. We'll do the reverse.
Wow.
So it's not just like a first second thing. If you think that the howler should win, make some noise. If you think that the breeze should win, make some noise. What did you think? I think it's like a howler by an edge. Yeah, howler by an edge. So the funniest thing is the howler. Shout out to Molly Weasley. And we've done it. We've determined the funniest thing in the Harry Potter series. Thank you all so much for helping us with your applause. I also found it funny that I feel like this side of the room voted for Breeze and this side of the room voted for Howler, and you were sitting on the side that voted for you, and I'm sitting, so maybe it's just like proximity bias.
It's where we campaigned.
Well, it's like medieval times when you sit in the Blue Knight section, and you're like, I love the Blue Knight. I met him 5 minutes ago. I would die for him.
Oh, Past Mike, hold on one more second before we get into the Q&A. Let's just take one little break just because this is a pretty long episode. We're going to take a quick break for some more ads, and then once those ads are complete, we will conclude this episode of Potterless and the very fun Q&A section that lies ahead.
I'm going to pick up this first question just at random. This question is from Kelly Beckman Schubert, apparently a longtime listener of the show. Kelly says, "Hi B, love you," 3 exclamation points and a heart emoji. Nice, love you too, Kelly. She says, "What is your favorite flavor of Pop-Tart? If you could invent a Pop-Tart flavor, what would it be? If it's not obvious from this question, I just ate one of your Pop-Tarts. Sorry." I did recently buy some Pop-Tarts because I was walking home from grabbing drinks with my buddy Stephen Parra, and I wanted to pick up some snacks because Kelly had been flying home. I was like, do you need any snacks? I'm into CBS. And she was like, no. And then I saw Pop-Tarts were on sale. And I bought my favorite flavor of Pop-Tarts, the one true flavor, brown sugar cinnamon. The true flavor of Pop-Tart. They're good. You're wrong. I'm sorry. I feel bad for your taste buds. But I'm sure they're fine.
I think they're great, but they're not the best flavor.
Oh, what do you think is the best flavor?
The best flavor is extremely slept on, and you can like really only find it in Target.
Okay.
And it's wild berry,
Wild
which
berry,
is so good.
Wild
it's
berry
like
is good.
the like purple frosting with the little red lines. Oh my God, it's insanely
Wild berry
good.
is very good. Now, if we could invent a flavor of Pop-Tart, what would you go with? I personally, and it's similar to it, but it's just my favorite flavor of cinnamon type thing, I would make a horchata Pop-Tart.
Or chop tart.
Horchata is this like Mexican rice milk, cinnamon, almond milk dish. It's so good. And it's really easy to make. You can make it just with like a blender and then rice, almonds, cinnamon sticks, and milk. It's super easy. Look it up. It's delicious. I would make horchata Pop-Tarts. What about you?
Gooey butter cake.
Gooey butter. Oh, that would be good.
Or toasted ravioli.
That less good. But it does bring up the important question, is a Pop-Tart just ravioli? It's not. It's not pasta. It's not made of pasta. It needs to be made of pasta. Now, this next question, because the subject line is toasted ravioli built the arch, which sure, I would believe that toasted ravioli built the arch.
Made of those.
Toasted ravioli, they didn't, what's the whole thing with the arch? They like didn't line it up properly, so they had to like...
Yeah, it's an old urban legend. They had to like redo all the calcs or something, yeah.
So Janelle asks, who would win in a fight, Hermione Granger or Percy Jackson? Which is good. I've gotten this question, obviously because of doing the newest Olympian. It's usually Harry versus Percy, though. Hermione versus Percy, I feel like I'm going to give the edge to Percy Jackson because, okay, look. First off, this is my podcast live show. You can do yours tomorrow. But I think Hermione Granger, definitely very smart, but Percy Jackson, without giving away any spoilers, in case anybody reads the Percy Jackson books for the first time with my podcast, he does, in the first book, defeat someone in a duel that is like seemingly undefeatable in a duel. So I feel like he would do quite well. But if there were more smarts and stuff involved, I think she'd do great. Okay, this one is from Kayla, whose email subject line is, it's not Panera, it's Breadco. Kayla says, after Percy Jackson, do you have any other book series in mind? I think I'm going to be doing Percy Jackson for a while because there's like a million sequel series books and stuff, which is good because I love job security. But I think if I ever was to do a thing afterwards, I've never watched Avatar: The Last Airbender, so I think I could, if I am still in the whole not consuming things, then consuming them thing, I would probably do that. This one is from Sierra. The subject line is, I nothing about St. Louis. So I'm guessing it's I know nothing about St. Louis. Sierra says, will we ever get Barb and Joel on a future pod aside from meddling adults? I don't think that we would ever get them on Potterless because they have not consumed all the Harry Potter books. Maybe in like a live show or something. What I do think would be very fun to get them on for, though, is when I start doing the movie episodes of The Newest Olympian, what I like to do in the past is have one person who's read the books and one person who hasn't. My dad has started to read the books, but he's a little bit farther behind. My mom likes to be up to date with The Newest Olympian and then call me about it after, which is adorable. So I think having them on for one of the movie episodes of Percy Jackson could be very fun. So I think there is a chance, because they've been keeping up, that they could show up on TNO in the future. Now, this next one is from Elizabeth. Says her question has two parts. I drove 2 hours to see you in St. Louis. That is dedication. Thank you very much for doing that. My question has two parts. One, Mike, you seem so intelligent, well-traveled, and well-spoken. Did you take Latin in high school? Yes, I did, for 3 years. Number two, my serious question. Do you have a favorite episode or favorite series of episodes you've recorded? I, just to be safe, will say all the episodes with my wife. Just leave it at that. What about you,
You think
Johnny?
that's safe?
The episode that I did with Kelly and Johnny at the same time is my favorite episode.
Yeah, good answer.
Do you have a favorite run of episodes or episode that you were on? Our Crenellated Ramparts run was a classic.
There were a few guests early on that I really loved. Sydney Adams was a hilarious guest for those that remember her, who I still have never met.
She had to record that one in her bathroom because her roommates were being loud.
Sounds about right.
Made for good podcast audio, tiles, really what you want. Oh, early Potterless. What was I doing? Okay. Ooh, this is a fun one from Sierra. If Harry Potter had basketball teams instead of Quidditch teams, already off to a great start, what would each house's jersey look like? What would the jerseys look like? I feel like the Gryffindor jerseys would be kind of simple, where there would just be like a big griffin and just, it would say like Gryffindor, very High School Musical 3 Wildcats jersey, where it just says Wildcats and then has a paw print, like very kind of just like standard looking. I feel like Ravenclaw would go University of North Carolina, where they have Argyle down the side of their jersey. I feel like that could be a good Ravenclaw look, like very studious, but still can be sporty. I feel like Slytherin would do the thing that a lot of NBA teams are doing right now, where they have black jerseys with their main color is just as like an accent. So they could have like an all black jersey, but then with just like green and silver accents. Maybe it's like, it says Slytherin in green, but it has like an outline of it in like a glittery silver, so it kind of catches in the light. And then Hufflepuff would just be like, go team, yay, I hope we all have fun. Like, it would be a very, no, but like in all sincerity, I feel like they would just have like very bright yellow jerseys that would maybe have like a cool like honey badger kind of pattern on it. Any jersey thoughts?
My only question was which one says Knicks on the front.
No, I'm not going to shoehorn it. That's me in the crowd wearing a Emmanuel Quickley jersey saying, yay, I'm glad you guys are funny playing basketball. This is from Amy. The subject line is St. Louis likes cabbage. What's that about? Does St. Louis like cabbage? No. Oh, you've brought a cabbage to the show. Are you Amy or, okay. Why did you bring a cabbage?
She's 26 weeks pregnant and a fetus.
Okay. Oh, that's fun.
Every weekend, whatever I do, I take a picture with the thing.
Yeah. My sister-in-law, Kelly's sister, had the thing with like the, now it's as big as an avocado. Yeah.
Congratulations.
Congratulations,
Wow.
by the way. What I thought was going to be the answer was she's 26 weeks pregnant and was really craving raw cabbage. So she was going to eat cabbage. So apparently St. Louis likes cabbage. Amy says, this makes sense. If I gave you a cabbage, would you take a picture with it? A 26-week fetus weighs about the same as a cabbage, in case you're wondering. Yes. At the end of the show, toss me the cabbage, and we can take a picture of me holding the cabbage with you when we do socially distanced photo time. Thank you. Yeah, great. Love it. Never had that happen before. This is a fun one from Courtney. Courtney says, what alcoholic drink would each of the main squad be, and why? Harry would want like a cool-looking drink. I feel like he would want a drink that is fun, but like cool. I feel like he could be like a Moscow Mule kind of thing, where it's just kind of like it comes in a cool cup.
I was thinking that or a Manhattan.
I don't even know what's in a Manhattan.
I don't either, but I know it comes in a fancy glass.
Yeah, I feel like Moscow Mule because it's like, the other fun thing about the original Moscow Mule, it's like, it's funny because it's just like vodka, ginger beer, simple syrup, and lime, which like, if you're going by like conventional drinks, like, I don't agree with this, but people would be like, if you just describe that drink to someone, they'd be like, that's a girly drink. Stupid. But I do like that the way that they got around it was like, how do we get men to order this? Oh, put it in a bronze mug. Yeah, that is manly. I feel like Harry would be like that because he's like, oh, I have friends, but I can't hug them because they're boys. I can't tell Ron I love him.
No, that's pretty good. Yeah, that's a good comp.
So I feel like Harry would be a Moscow Mule. I feel like Hermione would be something like it's really good, but it's a little difficult, like a mojito or something. Like it's nice and refreshing, but like it's kind of annoying. Like
Something with like egg whites or vanilla or something.
Yeah, it could be like a sour or something. But like mojitos, like no bartender likes to make a mojito. It's like a forearm workout. It's not fun. So Hermione, she's fun, but like sometimes a little hard to deal with. I feel like Ron would just be like
Fireball.
just like straight fireball,
Or like
clean.
a pina colada or something.
Yeah, it would be one of the two.
Yeah,
Yeah, I like it. Very good. Glad we're on the same page. Okay, this is from Sherry. Whoa, no family discounts. This is a subject line. Sherry says, Fred and George have asked you to invent a new item to sell in their joke shop. What is your proposal? Great question.
I feel like I would make like, those tiles they have that like help you find your phone or your keys or whatever when you lose them,
Yeah.
which are very helpful for me. I would make the inverse of that. So tiles where you can click a button and make that thing disappear for like 2 hours so that people are like, where's my keys? I have no idea where my keys are. That would be really good.
That's really good. I feel like I think that they have a lot of good like jokes and stuff. I don't think they have enough like fun games. And I feel like they could do one of those like kind of like a game where the stakes are high, where something embarrassing kind of happens to you, like a dunk tank or something. Like they could have some sort of game, like maybe you have some sort of toy wand and you have to do some sort of duel, but I don't know. It just makes me think of like Don't Wake Daddy, where like every now and then something incredibly terrifying happens. Like you could have some sort of like dueling game where like, you know, you have to say a spell. Maybe you can do like what Pottercast, Melissa Nolley's show that she does with Mischief Management. They do a game, and we did it live at LeakyCon, where it's like the spell game, where you have to go like back and forth, and you have to just say any sort of spell, and the first person who can't think of one loses, kind of just like your classic improv game. Maybe you have wands like that, but then if you lose, it like slaps you in the face or like squirts you with something like smelly, or like the equivalent. It like a thing comes out like one of those like robotic arms and like cream pies you with like a whipped cream pie.
Like clown horn.
Yeah. Oh, it's just different versions of that. Like it either hits you with like a pie, or it does the like water clown thing, or it shoots the like yoing snakes at you. It's just like all those like classic bits all over the place. Okay, Sam asks, if you could turn a Harry Potter food or drink into a Pop-Tart, what would you make? Which is a good one. You know what? I'm not a big pumpkin guy. I'm not a big pumpkin guy. Okay, you're a big pumpkin guy. Sorry, I clearly.
All right.
I
hating on pumpkin spice lattes is not cool anymore.
No, it's not cool.
They're
No.
delicious.
Just
like
no.
hating on Nickelback. You're not
Or
creative
pineapple
anymore.
on pizza.
Yeah,
Like we've heard it before. It's just like, let people drink what they want to drink. Who cares? You're at Starbucks. Like you can't be holier than thou. You are at Starbucks. I think would be interesting a fire whiskey one, because what would a spicy Pop-Tart be like? I'm just like intrigued by the prospect of it. I like spicy desserts, like when you have like chocolate with a little chili. I think that could be a really fun situation.
Sweet heat action.
Yeah, that would be my thing. Okay, this one is from Aggie, and I'm glad, because this is a basketball question. This is Aggie, who's a Hufflepuff, asks, which basketball defense plays do you think each house would be? So
I only have one opinion. Ravenclaw's running a zone with a lot of switching and like a very like cerebral D.
Yes, I would say they were probably running a 1-3-1 zone, which
I'm lost.
It's a very like.
I'm from here, remember?
I think that Slytherin would be a full court press. Get it like the news. A full court press, which is just where like the whole point of it is to like scare people into making a mistake. So it's just like high intensity kind of thing. Lots of traps and like taking up the whole court. I feel like Hufflepuff would just be like a simple man-to-man defense where it's just like, we are following the rules. We are trying to be nice. I'm going to guard you. You will guard him. And I feel like Gryffindor could be... they would run this play in basketball called a box and one, which is where you have 4 players just kind of like stand in a box and run like a zone defense, but then one person just guards the best player on the other team and just follows them around the whole time. And I feel like Gryffindor would take that approach because it's very like main character based. Like clearly there's one person that we have to pay attention to, and they would just have that person following all around.
And the other 6 people on the team, that's right, 6 don't matter.
Oh, Quidditch. Okay, this one is from Kristen. Kristen asks, how do you think the Harry Potter series would be taking place in 2022 with modern technology?
Short. It would be
It
short.
would be very short, yeah. I mean, this is one of those things where, like, I feel like it's okay that this was written into the story, that they had to like have the workaround, because I think as I've gotten older and a little less snarky, as you can hear as Potterless goes on, and I'm not like beefing with fictional 12-year-olds, I feel like I got to a point, and I've gotten it where with the newest, no, I only beef with real 12-year-olds. I feel like I've gotten to this point in the newest Olympian where it's just kind of like, you accept things that just like are so that the book exists. Like there's certain things that happen in the Percy Jackson books, like, oh, cell phones don't work because monsters can smell them. It's like, yeah, because if they could use a cell phone, well, it would just be silly. Like it would just not be a fun book to read. So like I've gotten better just kind of accepting those things. I guess it was harder because Rick Riordan feels much more open to being like, look, it's a kid's book. We got to do it. Whereas J.K. Rowling's like, everything I've written is perfect. And I'm the greatest storyteller of all time. Look at this weave I've woven. So
also, wizards just poop and evaporated. Brilliant.
So I feel like I've come to grips with the whole technology doesn't work in the Wizarding World thing. The thing that more upsets me is like, aside from the one time they reference Dudley having a PlayStation, it just doesn't feel enough like they're in the 90s. Like, it would still be cool if technology existed when they hung out with their Muggle friends, and Hermione could be like, oh yeah, my parents got, like whatever. Yeah, right. Like you can have different bands. And
imagine like movie 1, like a montage of Harry like to Smash Mouth just being down on his luck.
Yeah.
It'd be so great.
Be very good. Hermione's like, oh, I got these new things called hit clips. They play 5 seconds of songs. Yeah. Shout out to the people who are over 30 in the crowd.
Ron would be a tech deck kid. Yeah,
Oh,
Ron
tech
would
deck.
definitely be a tech
Ron
deck
would
kid.
love a tech deck. God, I had a lot of tech decks. Okay, this one is also from Courtney. Courtney, who also asked a drink-themed question, prefaces this question by saying, I'm not an alcoholic. What is the Potterless drink if you could create one? If we're going to like the essence of Potterless, it has to be like,
They make grape schnapps. It's got to be purple.
yeah, it would definitely, yeah, you would want it to be purple. I feel like it would have to have like a little bit of spice to it because I'm always like trying to bring the heat and like call stuff out.
But a little bit of sugar.
A little bit of sugar because it's sweet, so you need the sweet and the heat. You know what? Maybe you could do something with like a spicy margarita, which is one of my favorite drinks. You could, because that's like you have the little bit of the sweet of the simple syrup or the agave, whatever you're putting in. You've got a little bit of the spiciness because I usually like to use jalapeno syrup when I make a spicy margarita or like dashes of tahini in it. So you've got a little bit of that. It's still refreshing. It also could be like, it would be fun to do something where if there's a way to make it like change over time. So, you know what you do? You do one of those, you make a spicy margarita, but you put a very, very tiny drop of dry ice into it because then what would happen is it would start very cloudy and then eventually it would become clear because at first I didn't know anything about the books and now I understand how the books work. And now catch me at the next Potterless show where we have very expensive these drinks for $30 a pop.
Also, it'd be purple dry.
Yeah, you could use food coloring in the dry ice and then it would make like a purple fog around it. Yeah. Shout out to me making the logo of Potterless indigo in between blue and purple, the exact colors I can't see due to my color blindness.
Really quick,
Look at me go!
I'm really bummed that none of these subject lines referenced Ted Drew's. Y'all, I'm so excited to have Ted Drew's.
What is Ted Drew's? It's not too late. You can send in an email and make it Ted Drew's. It's custard. What are
custard
there
and
like
it's
particular
delicious.
go-to flavors? Are there like go-to styles? Is it like soft serve in a cone? Is it
All of them, all of the
them,
flavors.
All of them. Okay.
They,
okay.
they turn it upside down when they give it to you. That whole
They
thing.
do.
Yeah,
Did
yeah.
they do it before Dairy Queen Blizzard or
Yes.
The city of St. Louis should sue Dairy Queen.
Yes, I've been saying that for years.
If there's one thing about Johnny, he's always said that St. Louis should sue the Dairy Queen
Yeah,
herself.
that's my catchphrase.
Okay, this one from Kellen. Kellen asks, what is the funniest overall book in the Harry Potter series? Also, shout out to Sherry. Love your TNO episodes. Hey, there you go. Little Sherry shout out. The funniest overall book, I feel like the 6th book is the funniest one because you get some really good Fred and George funny moments. That's when you get the thing of them not giving Ron the discount because they leave at the end of the 5th book. So you get that in the beginning of the 6th, which is very fun. I also just think like that's when Harry and Ginny start to become a thing and Ginny's preferred method of flirting, which is my preferred method of flirting or being flirted to, is like poking fun at the person that you like in like a fun, quirky way. So I really just remember laughing the most. And then also Runel Waslib is in the 6th book. So like lots of bangers.
I mean, according to this gang, the second one is the funniest because it's got the funniest
Because it's
moment.
got the funniest moment in
That's
it.
how
Right,
that
right,
works.
Right. Uh-huh. Yeah. All right. Well, give a big round of applause to Johnny for being my lovely guest. Thank you so much. Shout out to Johnny. Also, shout out to everyone here at the Blueberry Hill Duck Room for helping the show. We've already given a shout out to Keyshawn for the wonderful audio and the music. Shout out to Marcus for running the house. Shout out to Ellie who helped out with the merch. All wonderful stuff that made the show run smoothly. Shout out to Sherry for being here. Shout out to Carol Frohlichstein for being here. Woo! Lots of fun stuff going on. Last but not least, thanks to all you so much for coming out. I really do appreciate it. This is cool to be able to do a show here, what is potentially the last full Potterless show. Can't think of a better way to go out. This was very fun and you are all lovely and I very, very much appreciate you being out here and sticking around with the show. It has not posted episodes for almost a full year, yet here you all are seeing it live, which is super duper cool. So I thank you very much. Johnny and I are just going to clean up the dollar bill related mess we made here and then get out of here. I appreciate you all so much for coming out. And as they say in the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, when...
Before they beat the Cubs.
Yep, sure. Before they beat the Cubs twice in the same day. Thanks so much for coming out, everybody!
thanks for listening to this episode of Potterless. Potterless was created by Mike Schubert. It is hosted by Mike Schubert. It is edited by Mike Schubert. It is produced by Mike Schubert. And it was produced in the producer level patron status by many people over the years. And I'm thankful for those folks. And I'm thankful for the folks that still support by going to patreon.com/Potterless. We have a separate tier called Oh, I Just Want the Potterless Stuff, because that Patreon has been rebranded for my new Percy Jackson podcast, The Newest Olympian. But you can still get access to anything we ever posted on the Potterless Patreon for the past 5 years. And it's just $4 a month. You can join, you can download all the stuff and then bounce. So you're really just paying $4 for everything. Do whatever you want. I'm not your mom. Have at it. And if you want to see and hear the other stuff that I'm doing, I got a whole bunch of good stuff going on. My Percy Jackson podcast, The Newest Olympian, has been really fun. I'm getting into just a few more extraneous things. I finished the main 5 books. I covered the TV show that just came out on Disney Plus, doing the movies and the musical, and then I'm getting into the Heroes of Olympus books, which I'm really excited about. Then Meddling Adults, we finished season 4. We did an emergency start of season 5 because I had Dara O'Brien on and we wanted to promote his US tour because he was kind enough to take time to be on the show. So season 5, the rest of it will be coming later. Then Horse has been going strong. Me and my buddy Adam Amawala doing a comedic basketball podcast about NBA stuff, WNBA stuff, basketball news, basketball history. And then Modern Muckraker's still there too. Season 1, still up, still funny, still slaps. That is a comedic investigative journalism show that I made with a very talented team of writers and a researcher and a showrunner and an editor and a composer. Super fun stuff. You can listen to all of those podcasts by searching for their names wherever you get your podcast, or if you go to my website, shubs, schub.es, it's got links to all that stuff there. Thank you for listening. I really do appreciate it. I do hope to post more Potterless things. It really just is a matter of when I have time in my schedule, and thankfully I had some time recently to put this one together, but I want to be posting more episodes and more vlog footage to the YouTube channel. That just search for Potterless on YouTube and you'll find us. We're still doing stuff. I still enjoy posting Potterless stuff from time to time, so stay subscribed because who knows, I'll keep posting stuff. Thank you very much, and I hope that you will hear me soon and we'll cross paths via the fun podcasty internet. But until then, as they say in the wizarding world of Harry Potter, wizard on!